Welcome back to another episode of Mastering Master Mode. We start this episode off hot with a battle against the Lunatic Cultist. This is the second to last boss in the game. It's just this guy and the Moon Lord. The Lunatic Cultist generally isn't the hardest boss if you know what you're doing. The best strategy for most of the fight is really just circle around it. A lot of the attacks go in straight lines, and if you just circle around the Lunatic Cultist, they can't really hit you. That being said, I'm doing a super poor job of circling around him. The other big thing you have to watch out for is when it summons copies of itself. You want to make sure you hit the correct copy, otherwise it'll spawn a dragon that has a lot of health, deals a lot of damage, and really gets in the way when you're trying to take on the Lunatic Cultist. I get hit pretty low by a couple of lightning bolts that I failed to dodge, and then when I'm attempting to line up a shot to hit the correct copy of the Lunatic Cultist, I run out of flight time on my wings, and I don't get there in time, allowing a phantasmal dragon to spawn. Since the dragon spawned, it pretty much ruins any chance I had of taking on the Lunatic Cultist, since when I have to stop the next time to see which copy I need to hit, the dragon is able to hit me, dealing a ton more damage, bringing me super low, and then the Lunatic Cultist teleports directly on top of me, taking me out for my first death of the episode. After that death, I'm looking through the achievement list to see what I need to do next, and some of the things that catch my eye are spawning all three of the mechanical bosses at once and defeating them, and besting the best army that the Old One's army has to offer. As I mentioned previously when taking on the Old One's army, there are 3 tiers to it. Now that I've beaten Golem, I'm on tier 3 of it, which means I'm getting the hardest enemies. I'm not sure if they have increased health or what, but it seems like I'm doing very little damage to them. I barely even make it through wave 1. When wave 2 comes out with the flying enemies, I stand no chance. The flying enemies get to the crystal almost immediately, and when I head back to defend it, I take another death. Dying in the Old One's army all but guarantees that the crystal will be destroyed and you will lose the event. I don't feel like I'm ready for this event at this tier quite yet. After coming to that conclusion, I decided the next best one to try is summoning all 3 mechanical bosses at the same time and defeating them all. In order to do this, I need to wait for nighttime, and once it hits nighttime, I grab the summoners and summon the twins, the Destroyer, and Skeletron Prime. This is not going to be an easy fight at all. I've taken out the Destroyer a couple times since beating it for the first time, but as for the other ones, I don't think I've fought either of them again. Immediately, this fight goes horribly wrong. I take so much damage. I get down to less than 50 health multiple times in a row. I barely survived by getting the Spectre hood on just in time. I was hit with the Cursed Flames debuff from the twins, and I was taking damage rapidly. I should have started this battle with the Spectre hood on. Having that extra healing is huge. Not only did I take a ton of damage right at the start, I also managed to despawn the twins. That means I wouldn't get the achievement if I managed to beat the other 2 bosses. In order to remedy that, in the middle of the fight, I managed to open up one of my chests and grab the spawner for the twins. The main weapon that I use for this battle is the Shadow Beam Staff. The reason for that is its piercing ability. I need to be able to shoot through Skeletron's arms to hit its head, as well as through the other bosses to hit more than one at a time. If I do single target damage, I don't think that I can beat this challenge. I end up taking a direct hit from the Destroyer's head, which deals about half of my health immediately, and then I get stuck in its body and somehow I don't die. I honestly can't believe it. I've been getting so lucky. Fortunately for me, the healing from the Spectre hood is enough to keep me alive, and I'm able to take out Skeletron Prime. Having just one of these bosses go down makes the fight a lot easier, and it being Skeletron Prime is actually huge since that's the one that was giving me the most trouble by staying near me the whole time. It's a lot faster than you would think a skeleton would be. After taking down Skeletron Prime and one of the twins' eyeballs, I decide to switch to a single target DPS weapon so that I can take it out faster. I use the Heat Ray since it deals a lot of damage and shoots a bit faster than the Shadow Beam Staff, and with that I'm able to take out the second eyeball for the twins rather quickly. With the twins defeated, it's just the Destroyer left, and I am super confident. I've taken out the Destroyer multiple times since the first time I beat it, so I'm not worried at all. Defeating the Destroyer and all three of these bosses at the same time gives me the achievement Mecha Mayhem. After that, it's right back to the achievement list to see which achievement I'm looking to try to get next. As I'm scrolling through, I see one called Torch God, and I remember that this one is not so hard. I just need a big open space and a lot of torches. So that's what I'm gonna do. I head on over to the arena I have set up in my jungle, since it's a large open space and it's got background walls that I can spam torches on. The way to summon this quote-unquote boss is to have a ton of torches in one spot. Once you do that, the screen will go dark and there will be bullets flying all over the place. The goal of this event is to survive. All you have to do is not die to the bullets flying across the screen in every direction for a certain amount of time, and you will be granted the Torch God's favor. It is a lot easier said than done since the event doesn't stop normal enemies from spawning, so not only do you have to dodge the bullets flying across the screen, but in my case, since I'm in the jungle, I have a lot of other enemies that I have to dodge as well, including bats and hornets. Maybe I should have done this event somewhere else. Although having the enemies around does actually allow me to heal up in an event where I otherwise wouldn't really be able to. Since there's no boss for me to attack, I actually can't use the Spectre Hood to heal up like I can in a normal boss fight. So having the enemies around allows me to get that healing in. The event doesn't last too long, only about a minute, and after surviving for the whole time, I'm granted the Torch God's favor, and using that gives me the achievement Torch God. It also gives me a toggle that I can turn on that allows me to place biome-specific torches rather than normal torches, and using biome-specific torches boosts your luck stat just a little bit, so it is helpful. I made a bit of a mistake earlier when I said that the Lunatic Cultist and the Moonlord were the last two bosses. What I really meant is they're the last two story required bosses. There are actually a few more optional bosses I can fight as well. One of those optional bosses requires an item called the Truffle Worm, which I can get from the mushroom biomes. So I'm down here in a mushroom biome looking for truffle worms when I come to an unfortunate end. After respawning, I see that it's a blood moon, so I head over to the ocean biome so that I can spawn the Dread Nautilus. You do this by fishing in a blood moon, and it's another one of the optional bosses in the game. It's also a brand new boss to me. This is one of the first times I'm ever fighting it, and I think it's a boss for earlier in the progression because I don't take much damage and I take it out pretty quickly. Taking out the Dread Nautilus gives me the achievement Don't Dread on Me. And with that, we come to the end of the episode. I hope you all enjoyed me hunting for some of the achievements that I haven't gotten yet. I got a bunch in this episode. If you did, be sure to drop a like, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to seeing next in the series. And I will see you all next week for more Mastering Master Mode. Thanks for watching.